We're recording right now.
Okay. I'm Tara Turcotte-Leanna, and I am an early care and education major at Delaware State University. I have a minor in exceptional learners. This is my presentation board that I've gotten for my reflections of my clinical experience with infants and toddlers. I spent quite a few hours in a home-based daycare. I had been previously in some public larger daycare facilities, so I decided to do a home-based daycare this time. The majority of my presentation board concerns the developmental domains and how they relate to infant and toddler care, and then underneath of that is the theorists in relation to the domains. The theorists that I chose to talk about just for this presentation was Erikson and Vygotsky. Erikson has a theory of psychosocial development with infants and toddlers, and Vygotsky has a cognitive development theory that has to do with their learning environment and their home environment and how that affects their cognitive development. Over here, I wrote that parent education is just as important as the education that we provide to young children as teachers. Parents are their children's first teachers before we ever get them. I have a whole section on the importance of breastfeeding and how that can be an important early start for cognitive development as well as emotional development of young children. I also have an infant feeding guide and a section on the importance of nutrition in terms of infant and toddler care. Over here I have a section about knowing the signs of developmental delays and how early intervention is important in diagnosing and then treating developmental delays in children. This is my section just about a little bit about infants and a little bit about toddlers and some of the things that they need from parents involved. This is my Who Am I section, tells who I am, what I'm about, and then my partners that made this research successful was the stay-at-home mom that opens up a home daycare for children in our area, and the parents and the infants that were involved in that daycare setting. Also the DSU faculty and staff, my instructor, as well as my family, because they're a big part of how much time I get to do research and observations and homework as well. So.
Thank you, Tara. And before we allow you to be interviewed alone, we would like to introduce the Director for Clinical Experiences, and I will give him just a brief time to introduce himself to the community.
Good. I'm Dr. Clark. I'm the Director of Clinical and Field Experiences here at Delaware State University, and I can see she's put a lot of time and energy into this project, and it's excellent. These types of clinical experiences will be very influential as she goes out into the field. But I look forward to her taking the field.
Thank you. And here we are going to let Tara be interviewed alone. And excuse me. Yeah, so Kristen, tell us from your experience, what did you find as challenges? Be it preparing to go out and work in the community, or?
The challenges that I face are the same challenges that I face every time, and that is incorporating time into my schedule of classes and family to find time to go out and do my observation hours. Now, when I go to do my student teaching in the fall, that's a separate issue because I'll have the time all day that I'm usually here devoting to class time, but I have, 3 kids and a husband, and one of my children is severely developmentally delayed, and he takes a lot of time between doctors and therapists that I have to incorporate in between class schedules and observation times. So that's always my biggest challenge.
Oh, and from you working with parents out there, could you tell us something that you found unique, especially with the excellent parents that allowed you into your home to do some research that is coming from Delaware State University?
I found that the parents that were involved in the daycare setting that I was at, like I said before, it was a home daycare setting, totally different than the big daycare facilities that I had been to before. The home daycare moms seem more apt to be wanting to know what is going on all day long with their infants, how many times they were changed, what they ate, how much they ate, what they did all day as far as activities, whether they were fussy or not. In my experience with the big daycare facilities, a lot of times they have the papers written out where the caregiver writes down all of that information, but 9 times out of 10 the mothers are sticking it in a diaper bag and then not looking at it again. But in the home daycare setting, they come in and they have one-on-one conversation with the caregiver as far as what their child had done all day long, what they ate, how many times they were changed, how their personality was that day. And it just seems like those mothers in the home daycare facilities are more concerned about what's going on with their children all day long.
Oh, thank you. And what message would you give to our prospective students? And, you see it's a small class size, and for those of us who might be scared to join, what message do you have?
The message that I would have would be do whatever you have to do to take these classes, because it's ultimately rewarding going through all of the levels of, general ed classes to your education-based classes, and it's very rewarding to know that at the end of a certain time period, you're going to be able to do this for real.
And from your own point of view, what do you think could be the problem of not having so many students?
I would say the problem with not having very many students in an education class like this would be that there's not very much comparison to do. As far as, she went to one place and I went to another place, but there would be, 10 or 12 other students theoretically that we could be comparing experiences with, and we don't have that in these small basic classes. So the comparison value is lacking in that area.
So what you're trying to say is we would like to have
more
students.
Yeah.
And what do you think are stopping them from coming? Having all these exciting...
I don't know.
Christine.
I can answer that question.
Okay.
I would say the praxis, standardized tests that students have to take, and many students are switching their major due to the praxis. So this is the reason why we have smaller students in the classroom, because everybody is giving up. They can't really pass this test. It's 1 or 2 points that they're missing the test off of, and they end up switching their majors to social work and so forth. So this is why we have a small amount of people in the classroom.
Wow. So what advice would you give us, at least as faculty?
I would advise faculty just to keep the students motivated. Most students give up. They don't have the time. They don't have anybody to encourage them to keep on going forth and so on. So just keep them motivated and keep them positive. Keep saying things to students, because when you hear positive reinforcement, it helps them. So it's important to just keep them motivated.
So how many times did you have to take the praxis?
I had to take it, I would say, about 5 or 6 times. The 6th time I actually passed, and that was the reason I passed. It took me a while, but like I said, I was motivated, I was focused, and I was determined. I want to become a teacher, and this is what I'm going to do. Nothing's going to stop me, and this is what I want to do.
Thank you. And why do you think it's important for teachers who will be teaching infants and toddlers to be certified or to have license?
I think it's very important for them to be certified and licensed, because going through the classes and have an understanding of what you're teaching to students is important as well. They need to have the background knowledge of what's going on. I think getting certified is wonderful, because you're teaching students, and like I said earlier, you're motivating them, you're having prior knowledge of what's going on, and you're learning as you go forward. So I really feel that this is important. I think it should be mandatory.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Oh, in conclusion, I would say I am very thrilled to be part of this group, and I hope we'll continue to have more sessions like this, because at least it gives empowerment to our students rather than being teacher-directed all the time. And I am extremely impressed with how Sarah has come up to produce this, and also how Christine Williams, and especially with all the assistance that we are getting from our clinical experiences. Thank you so much. continue to say thank you to the Office of Young Children that helped Christine to be where she is, the success of this presentation, and also Delaware Public Health. You know, what is it called? Delaware
Department of Health and Social Services.
That's right. In fact, we made some contributions, and also the parents, and also, Delaware State University itself. So, many hats off to all these